our way from Cape Town, locked and loaded with camera gear and personal kit for a couple of nights. Our destination, 𝗀𝗃𝗃 in 𝗃𝗃𝗃, where families have been devastated by colon and other cancers going back countless generations.
As jy gedink het aan kanker, of jy dit net gehoor, dan het jy die dood gesien.
I lost my mom in 2012. She was diagnosed with colon cancer in 2011. 3 months after that, I was diagnosed.
I lost my father. I was only 10 years old. So for me, it was a different story. I always knew a dad that was sick.
𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 is a vast district with off-the-beaten-track roads connecting families who live in this arid land. For the last 30 years, this region has been plagued by colon cancer, claiming many lives. To shed light on why, our journey actually begins at the University of Cape Town with a geneticist who began asking questions many years ago. Could it be in their DNA, he wondered. Determined to find out, Professor 𝗀𝗏𝗃 found clues in the work of earlier doctors. Prof, you were a young specialist and there was this dusty file. What was in there?
Oh, there was this absolute treasure. And this was very early work that was done by my predecessors, who in fact had heard of this condition, a form of inherited cancer, just evidenced by the fact there were several relatives working at a mine in 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃.
𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃 was not the only community affected. 𝗀𝗏𝗃 found individuals from across 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 being treated for colon cancer at 𝗃𝗃cije Hospital.
What was hugely important here is to do the research. So we gathered biological material, i.e. blood, and my work in the laboratory then was to try and figure out what is it that all affected individuals share.
Professor 𝗀𝗏𝗃's research started in 1989 and it took him to remote villages in far-flung corners of 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, where he hoped to find the clue to the puzzle why so many families were plagued with similar cancers. 𝗀𝗏𝗃 suspected the problem might be in their genes, a mistake or misfiring within the molecules that make up DNA that were causing a mutation.
So we would take a family history, in other words, where did the disease come from? Perhaps his father had the disease. So in this instance, with him inheriting the disease, he has a 50% chance of passing it on to his kids.
Back at the lab at the University of Cape Town, Professor 𝗀𝗏𝗃 was eager to find the answer. But the breakthrough only came months later, miles away in Chicago, when he finally cracked the code. 𝗀𝗏𝗃 was on a sabbatical in the US city, working around the clock to find the answer.
I remember it was a cold winter's night when I found the genetic defect. And it still sends, goosebumps on my eyes. Absolutely. I was so excited.
What 𝗀𝗏𝗃 found was a genetic defect present in all the individuals who carried the mutation, unique to South Africa, passed on from generation to generation.
So in fact, this mutation is more than 1,000 years old. What we know is this mutation arose here, and it is prevalent here.
It's homegrown.
It's very much homegrown.
Back in 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃, it's late afternoon when we meet up with Leah Brunt, eager to share her story.
Ek het groot geword in Port in 'n maatjieshuis gebly. Ons is 'n close family.
Leah took us back in time to when 𝗀𝗏𝗃, accompanied by Sister 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 from 𝗃𝗃cije Hospital, took blood samples to help track her family history. But before the test results were in, Leah started experiencing stomach cramps.
Dit was eers maandeliks en dit is later 2 dae uitmekaar uit, maar is 'n pyn wat ek nie kon hanteer nie.
Leah was rushed to 𝗃𝗃cije Hospital, but it was too late. Her colon was riddled with cancer and had to be removed.
Meneer het my hele dikterm verwyder, 2 stukkies net gelos.
I think, Leah, you've got the right spirit, eh? Very positive.
Ek glo nie ek gaan weer kanker kry nie.
Leah's only one of over 500 individuals identified with a specific mutation. Multiply that by the 50% hereditary rate and the numbers run into the thousands. Sister 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃's mammoth task was to draw up a family tree going back generations.
Sister, we've got this scroll here. It's almost like a family tree. How many years are we going back here?
So you're looking at least, if I can get to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 generations.
6 generations. So in the middle of this, you've got Leah and 3 children she had.
Leah's one of many, but she's been identified with the mutation, so which meant that children were all 50% risk.
Yeah.
And we've tested all 3 of them. One of them isn't, the other 2 are.
Leah's one son, Augusto, and her daughter Bernice tested positive. Ramazar's groundbreaking genetic discovery 3 decades ago led to a clinical surveillance program rolled out in Namaqualand. High-risk individuals were enrolled in the program, which involved annual screening at a rural clinic where they received sophisticated medical procedures by a team of specialists who came from hospitals across the country to offer their services. Professor 𝗶𝗶𝘂 has led the team for the past 27 years.
Prof, so impressive, this team coming together in this small community. Must take a lot of planning.
It takes about a year. There's equipment that gets flown in from overseas, particularly for the trip. So the endoscopy equipment is actually brought in from all over the world. We've added more components. We've added the breast screening. The team's grown from about 10 initially to the close to 50 that we are now.
It really is an amazing and heartwarming situation that these rural communities are getting the very best medical attention, the specialists, the equipment.
If you're going to have a colonoscopy in South Africa, the place to have it is here, in 𝗀𝗃𝗃.
For the next 3 days, this clinic becomes a hive of activity as medical experts from around the country, using the very latest equipment, carry out procedures for those families who are at high risk. Doctor, what's it been like for you joining this team for 5 years?
Look, it's been a fantastic experience, and seeing patients again and again is a fantastically rewarding experience because you really get to know the families and you get to know the people and you form a relationship with them. And there's a vulnerable community and they really appreciate what we're doing.
Leah hasn't missed an annual checkup since they removed her colon. She's in good hands as Dr. 𝗵𝗶𝘀 picks up a tiny polyp which he removes with precision. We bumped into Werner and 𝗀𝗁𝗃 in the clinic's foyer. They're from Aggeneys, 200 kilometers from 𝗀𝗃𝗃, and both inherited the mutation. 𝗀𝗁𝗃 from her father, who died when she was 10, and Werner from his mother, who passed away from colon cancer. Werner's colon was removed the year before he joined the program.
Where I'm from, there's local communities, small communities. When you hear the word cancer, it's like a death penalty. We are doing this precautionally because I want to live long, and I can do it. With the program and by the will of God, I can do it.
I think this program makes a huge difference, especially in our districts where there's nothing.
The Carstens will have to remain in the program, and their 11-year-old daughter Bernice, who carries the gene, will enter it when she turns 18.
It's a lot of explaining to her at 11 to let her know that actually this feels bad now, but it's for the good.
Hi, I'm Adam. Are you ready for your scope?
Yes, I am.
It must be making a massive difference amongst the community.
For those individuals who have the mutation and choose to enter the screening program, they get an additional 20 years at least of life. So instead of dying in their 40s, we get them out to 60 and beyond.
When Ramazani's team started their work 30 years ago, they couldn't have imagined the legacy their work would leave behind. The people of Namaqualand have been given a new lease on life and renewed hope that this generation's children stand a better chance of beating an inherited cancer. Before leaving, it was back to Leah's house. Sister Alga was taking more blood and checking up on Leah after her recent procedure. As usual, Leah was full of beans.
So ek is positief vir ons toekoms. Ek vertrou die Here sal vir ons hierdeur help en ons dra. Dat ons ander kant alright sal